Now on Coast TV News.
State Speech Spotlight. A look at the issues Delaware Governor Matt Meyer is expected to cover during his first State of the State address.
Bay breakdown, the health status of coastal bays up for review in Worcester County.
Echo of an era. We await the newest addition to Lewis's rail exhibit.
A touch of frost this morning, otherwise cloudy and cool conditions today. A rainy Friday, and that rain could last into a part of the weekend. I'll track it on FutureCast coming up next.
This is Coast TV News Today.
It is Thursday, April 10th, 2025. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour.
And thank you for being with us on Elisa's birthday. We're all part of the celebration this morning. Happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you very much. And I will say, having an April birthday, it's been snowing, it's been hot, it's been rainy, it's been cold, and today it's a cold birthday. A little bit better than yesterday, but Bob, we're still sticking with that cold weather.
We are, and happy birthday, Elisa, and have a great day. And hello to you, Matt, and Delmarva as well. We are looking at a chilly start, not nearly as cold as yesterday morning, but maybe a touch of frost inland areas, 39 in Salisbury, 38 in Redden. Temperatures are creeping up a little bit as the clouds are increasing. 40 in Delmar. We've got mid-40s at the beaches right now. We do have a frost advisory, Dorchester, Somerset, Wycomico, and Worcester County. So Hurlock back through Gum Swamp, Salisbury, Willard, excluding the coast, you have that chance of seeing a little bit of frost this morning, so maybe just a little bit of scraping, but not much. As the winds are starting to come in out of the southeast now, and with the clouds increasing, that is warming the temperatures up. We're seeing a little bit of radar return activity, a little bit of green, but it's just too dry, I think, for rain. But there are showers back to the west, a big area of rain across the Ohio Valley, even snow around Cleveland and western PA. It's still wintertime there. Here's FutureCast this morning, 30s and low 40s. We're going to increase the clouds and the winds today, 40s and low 50s late morning. And then as we head into the noon hour, we're into the mid to upper 50s inland areas, cooler 40s at the coast, and we're into the 50s away from the coast, and a lot of clouds and kind of turning raw as we go into the evening hours. So maybe a spot shower this morning, but I think it's too dry for that. And it's a cool and breezy day, and then we have increasing rain chances as we go into tonight, Friday, and into a part of the weekend. More on that coming up. I'll track it on FutureCast a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. We're now getting a live look at Delaware's capital city of Dover. Today, there are about 5 pieces of legislation expected to be reviewed in the General Assembly, and also on the schedule, a visit from the governor. Our top story this morning, it is another first for Delaware Governor Matt Meyer, and this afternoon he will deliver his State of the State address in front of the General Assembly. It occurs 3 months after his inauguration, and also comes about a week after he made public budget amendments for fiscal year 2026. It includes restructuring the state income tax brackets, increasing pay for government workers, and an initiative to get cell phones out of classrooms. The speech is scheduled for 2:30 p.m.
Meyer has been in office since January 21st. During that time, we have seen nominations and bills signed into law. In March, he nominated Judge Eric Davis as president of the Superior Court of Delaware. Meyer signed into law measures that strengthen corporations to prevent them from leaving Delaware for other states, and he appointed a new public advocate to challenge energy prices of utility companies.
New this morning, we are awaiting the arrival of a new piece of history in Lewis. The Lewis Junction Railroad and Bridge Association is adding a donated steam locomotive tender to the tracks next to the Lewis Library this morning. And
Coast TV is live at the junction right now. Here's what the area looks like right now. It is dark outside, but you can see the train that is currently in that area. The slope-shaped car used to hold coal and wood to fuel trains, and it will be joining that red caboose that stands right there now and will help to tell the story of Delaware's rails. Very exciting there. Now, it's set to arrive at 5:30, so that's less than a half hour from now. I know it's a little dark there, but that's the red caboose there in Lewis. Tours of the cars are given on weekends, including National Train Day on May 10th. That's when the association will commemorate the day by driving a golden stake into the rail. And happening today, continued work on managing growth in Sussex County. The newly formed Land Use Reform Group is back for another session. Members of the 10-person group include a civil engineer, a farmer, and representatives from DelDOT, who say road improvements related to new developments could take more time to complete. One person who spoke at a previous meeting says growth means stress on resources.
hard objective limits on resources. When you use up water, when you use up land, those resources are inelastic. When you run up against the limit of a resource, you need to reduce or stop your usage of it.
Group member, real estate and land use attorney John Horner says housing prices will skyrocket if buildings slow and even stop.
On the coast this afternoon, we will learn more about the health of coastal bays when the University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science will provide an update to Worcester County's Planning Commission. There are 6 bays expected to be covered: Assawoman, St. Martin's River, Sinapugset, Isle of Wight, Newport, and Chincoteague. According to a 10-year action plan, health is determined by 4 water quality indicators, and they are nitrogen, phosphorus, chlorophyll A, and dissolved oxygen. This will take place at one at the Government Center in Snow Hill.
We have an update to a story we first brought to you on Wednesday. Delaware voters might need to start carrying photo ID with them. That's if one new bill is signed into law. Proposed House Bill 112 would require photo ID for all voters. The bill's sponsor, Brian Shoup, tells us that bill hopes to update the state's voter registration list, and he says it will hopefully decrease voter fraud. The bill would also reduce the cost to get a photo ID in the state. The leaders with Delaware's ACLU chapter say it would create barriers to voting.
You've seen in a lot of states that have these photo ID laws is that it can actually stop people from ever registering to vote.
Representative Shoup says that bill is expected to be discussed at the next Elections House Committee meeting sometime in May.
This just in, Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown reacting to the passage of several bills that he actually helped craft. It came from recommendations by the Maryland Equitable Justice Collaborative, a statewide initiative to address incarceration racial disparities. One of the newly passed bills broadens early release access for people who are aging or sick. Another gives long sentences another review if the crime was committed when the offender was between 18 and 25 years old. A third aims to reduce criminalizing students' behavior.
An update to road work taking place in Georgetown, according to the town, after being postponed due to weather. That work is expected to happen today. This includes lane and shoulder closures. On your screen now is the railroad crossing where the Delmarva Central Railroad Company is performing maintenance work at Route 9. The work is set to begin today at 9 a.m. and work is expected to be completed by April 25th at 5 p.m.
If you live in Delmar and see this outside the fire department, the department there says don't be alarmed. According to the department, the Delaware Forest Service is performing controlled burns in the area. This is at the intersection of Line Road and Pepper Box Road. The Delaware Forest Service plans to plant new trees on Saturday.
This morning, a Brooklyn man is facing 4 charges after a car chase with Ocean View police on Tuesday night. According to police, 31-year-old Tremaine Gibbs did not stop for officers after they say he was speeding on Central Avenue. The 2-car chase ended, but not before Gibbs crashed into a fence on Route 54 near Selbyville at Coastal Flooring. When the car was stopped in the Atlantic Lake subdivision, a woman passenger got out and ran away. According to police, she is yet to be found.
Getting a live look at Washington, D.C., where a big change in tariff policy led to a big jump in the stock market. On Wednesday, President Trump announced a pause on nearly all the nations the U.S. trades with. Trump says the pause will allow more time to negotiate. As
NBC's Alice Barr shows us, China was not included in that pause. In fact, the president increased tariffs on Chinese imports.
A mass exhale and surging stocks on Wall Street as President Trump suddenly reversed course, announcing a 90-day pause in his punishing tariffs on 75 countries that reached out to negotiate.
You have to be able to show a little flexibility.
The president, though, keeping new baseline 10% tariffs in place, along with previous tariff rounds, including on Mexico and Canada. But all eyes are on the deepening rift with China. President Trump hiking tariffs on Chinese imports even more to 125% after China's retaliatory taxes on U.S. goods jumped to 84%, taking effect overnight.
China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quite to go about it.
The U.S.-China trade relationship is huge, and a sustained trade war could mean higher prices in the U.S. on everything from apparel and electronics to fireworks.
That price has to go somewhere.
And Tonka toy trucks.
The harm that's being caused is really catastrophic, and please make a deal quickly.
As the president negotiates with other countries, administration officials insist the stock market plunges of recent days did not prompt his tariff reversal.
Absolutely not. The tariff plan for the president, look, he's trying to fix the fundamental trade imbalances that have been going on for this country for 35 years.
While Democrats and even some Republicans say the Wall Street chaos sends a clear message.
It's not just me that thinks the tariffs are bad for the economy.
Urging the White House to make a plan in the next 90 days. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
We're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today.
Coming up, Chincoteague seeks slip increase, why town officials are considering charging more money and the plan to use those additional funds.
Also, Students Stand Up Against Abuse will show you the meaning of this project in Snow Hill and what students hope to accomplish.
But first, protecting the history of Ocean Pines, how homeowners are coming together to make a difference. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
Time flies, and if you don't take a little time to commemorate the good moments, those memories can fade away. In today's Coastal Connections, reporter Kevin Zappe shows us how one group in Ocean Pines is trying to keep history alive in their community.
Inside the Ocean Pines Administration Building is a room dedicated to sorting through the history of the community. Elaine Brady and Jenny Cropperine spend hours volunteering to sort everything out.
We're sort of at a crossroads where the history is going to be gone if we don't do something with it.
The Ocean Pines Historical Task Force started 9 months ago and has around a dozen local volunteers working and sorting through hundreds of pictures showcasing the town's past. And through these images, you could see everything from the transformation of the canals in 1969 to the start of the yacht club, which is now a staple to the community and even has a handcrafted model boat created by an Ocean Pines local in 1955. Other before and after pictures include the golf club building and the Ocean Pines Beach Club in Ocean City, something Brady says is an important spot for the community to meet.
People are very, very active and very friendly because they've come from all over, and so they want to make new friendships here.
If you're looking to dive into the rich history of Ocean Pines right now, there's currently a book you could buy for $20 that will show you how things changed over the 30-year span from 1968 to 1998. And plans for another book are in the works.
I think the biggest thing that we'll be looking at is to do a coffee table book. That's something that people have a lot of interest in, and it's an easy way to learn about Ocean Pines from the beginning to the present.
According to Brady, the new Ocean Pines book is still in the early stages, so you'll have to wait around 2 years to pick up that one and read, which gives you enough time to read the current Ocean Pines book that's out now. I'm Kevin Zappe in Ocean Pines, Coast TV News.
Time is 5:17 as we get a live look at Dover on this Thursday morning. Slightly warmer weather on the way in this morning, Bob, but we do have some remnants of frost.
Yeah, Matt, if we do see the frost, I think it's going to be very, very light. We have temperatures that were in the mid-30s. They're actually climbing now, but we do continue a frost advisory. Dorchester, Somerset, Wycomico, and Worcester counties until 8 a.m. So around Cambridge, down to Salisbury, down near Long Ridge, Willards, Ocean Pines, excluding the immediate coast and Ocean City, you could see a touch of frost this morning, but temperatures are actually on the rise. They've come up a few degrees from a couple hours ago, 39 in Salisbury, 41 in Delmarva. So these temperatures are just too warm for frost right now. 42 in Milton, 46 in Ocean City, and 46 in Bethany Beach. We are seeing the wind shifting now, starting to come in out of the southeast. They're pretty light at the beaches and calm inland, but eventually that breeze will pick up as we go through the day. As we're looking at, we'll call it filtered moonshine out there right now. We did see the moon earlier. No, not that kind of moonshine. The other moon. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies right now, and that overcast just thin enough where it was chilly, and now we're starting to see the clouds increasing. We're seeing some moisture trying to move into the D.C. area. Keep in mind we have a lot of dry air in place, so chances are this is going to dry up before it gets here. But we're seeing a bigger area of rain from Kentucky up into the Ohio Valley, and even some snow, yes, from Cleveland up into the lake effect areas around Buffalo and to the north and west. So it's still winter time up there and still feeling kind of winter temperature-ish around here too. Here's Futurecast this morning at 6:30. We've got 30s and low 40s, maybe that touch of frost inland. And then by mid-morning, it's warming up pretty quickly. 50 around Georgetown and Millsboro. 40s at the beaches as the winds are picking up from the southeast. By the noon hour, we're into the mid-50s, maybe upper 50s around Salisbury, around 57 for you, but cooler 40s at the coast with that wind coming right off the ocean. As we go into the afternoon, we do cloud it up, and it's going to be increasingly raw with temperatures in the 50s, falling back into the 40s through the overnight. So not as cold through the overnight hours, and we could see a few scattered showers after midnight as we head into your Friday morning. And then that easterly breeze freshens up. It gets stronger as we go into your Friday with cloudy skies. Then I think we're seeing rain increasing into the afternoon, into the evening hours, and it's raw as we're watching low pressure developing, and it's a washout Friday night into Saturday morning as low pressure is developing offshore. As we go into Saturday afternoon, I think we could still see some spotty showers. We do start to dry things out as we go into Sunday. So Sunday, the better of the two weekend days, as we're seeing the winds that are picking up out of the southeast as we go into this evening, over 20 miles per hour. And we continue with that onshore flow as we go into Friday, definitely adding to that raw feel. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, 56 today. Rain increases Friday, 55. Could be kind of wet for Passover Saturday, 53. Dries out for Palm Sunday, 60, and then it warms up next week. At least by Tuesday, we're up to 70 and mostly cloudy skies. Congratulations to Pamela Fennell from Salisbury on winning a brand new umbrella from Coast TV and Paul Davis.
Thank you, Bob. Students in Worcester County are bringing attention to a sensitive topic. April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and this week, 8th grade students at Snow Hill Middle School participated in the Pinwheels for Prevention campaign by setting up a pinwheel garden outside of their school. The garden symbolizes the desire for all children to have a happy and healthy childhood.
I want them to know that we as a school support anybody who is going through child abuse, and we are here for them and make sure that they are physically and mentally okay.
And we're being told students hope the colorful display illustrates a message of unity to everyone who sees it.
Up next on Coast TV News today, Chincoteague seeks slip increase. We'll tell you how officials say the community would benefit from the increased fees. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back. Boaters on Chincoteague may soon see the cost of renting a slip at the town's marina increase. The Harbor Committee plans to increase slip rental rates for some boaters over the next 2 years. Private owners would see a total increase of about 20% after 2 years. Charter boats jump around 50%, while watermen's rates would not change at all.
Should have been raising the rates over the last 8 years, at an incremental rate. 24.5% is a pretty big hit all at once, and I would say the shock is that basically our rates are going to go up a total of 50% within the next 2 years, and residential is only going up 20%. They're not making their living off of this. They're not trying. We need this. We need this business.
And town officials say the planned increases would generate nearly $25,000 in revenue for the harbor, which would go towards improvements like hiring fuel assistants and upgraded security measures. And Matt, I hate to say it, but I'm not going to spend my birthday afternoon at the beach.
Yeah,
cold.
I'm being told this is devastating news for people on the coast.
Devastating, Bob. It's a little cold out there for the beach today. Yeah.
Well, you can always bundle up. We say layer up. Yeah, it is not the same. Yeah, not the same. But we are looking at that onshore flow picking up today. The wind's picking up. Small craft advisory goes into effect today. Continues until Friday evening. The Atlantic Ocean from Lewis down to Bethany Beach, including some of the inland bays as well. UV index today is low. Here's Fenwick Island and Ocean City beginning in the upper 40s, only in the upper 40s and low 50s with increasing clouds. And it's going to be raw feel for sure at the coast. The same for Lewis and Rehoboth. We'll see times of sun today, but I think overall, lots of clouds and 40s and low 50s for highs. On the bay side in Cambridge, you're increasing the clouds there with mid-50s, and we're also looking at mid-50s into Crisfield. Then the rain builds in tonight. I think it's a rainy Friday, and that lingers into a part of the weekend. Not a complete washout. I'll have much more in my forecast coming up in the next half hour.
And after the break on Coast TV News today, major changes in Milton. We'll tell you why some of your favorite annual events could be in jeopardy.
Also, first state speech. What's It's expected as Governor Matt Meyer addresses all of Delaware.
A new locomotive in Lewis will tell you now only minutes away from welcoming a new train at the Lewis Junction. We'll tell you when you can get an up-close look at that new exhibit. Coast TV News Today will be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Meyer's message. It's the new governor's first State of the State address, the priorities he has pushed during his first 3 months in office.
Fading festivals, why Milton is canceling and scaling back some of the town's annual events.
Junction Function. We have the newest piece of railroad history arriving in Lewis.
A touch of frost this morning, otherwise cloudy and cool conditions today. A rainy Friday, and that rain could last into a part of the weekend. I'll track it on Futurecast coming up next.
This is Coast TV News Today.
April 10th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
And we're approaching 5:30 on this Thursday morning. Elisa, your birthday coincides with the first round of the Masters today.
Yes.
I'm predicting some extended lunches for people at work.
I think so. And yesterday they had the par 3 tournament with all the kids who played. That was so cute to see. And to see those pictures. Also the weather there. Looks pretty beautiful.
That is such a beautiful course. It's just one of those rites of spring. You know spring is here.
Yeah, well, Bob, I'm sure it's warm in Georgia, but today the story is it's a little cold here.
I'm guessing so.
Yes.
I'm guessing it's probably a little warmer in Augusta. And I think the weather will be pretty good. We'll cooperate through the weekend for the Masters. For us, it's chilly out there. We're seeing some upper 30s from Salisbury up to Redden, 41 in Delmarva and Georgetown. Mid-40s at the beaches right now. Maybe a touch of frost from the eastern shore around Bucktown to Hurlock and Salisbury to Ocean Pines, but then you're away from this frost advisory right along the immediate coast. So maybe a touch of frost this morning, but temperatures are rising and the clouds are increasing. So I think those chances are dwindling. A little bit of a breeze at the beaches as we're seeing the clouds beginning to increase right now. We'll call it mostly cloudy, but we're seeing some stars through the overcast. Looks like some showers, at least aloft, moving into D.C. These showers battling a lot of dry air, so chances are they're going to dry up before they get here. But more important, rain across the Ohio Valley, even snow into the Great Lakes. And this system will give us an increasing chance of rain tonight into Friday. 30s and low 40s out the door this morning. We're seeing some clouds. I think we'll see some sun at times too. Mid-morning 40s to around 50 degrees. By noon, mid-50s well inland, but only 40s at the coast as the winds are beginning to pick up. And then by mid-afternoon, kind of cloudy out there, kind of raw too as the winds are coming in off the ocean. Only 40s at the coast, mid-50s at the beaches, and kind of cloudy as we go into the evening hours. You want to bundle up on that ferry ride up to Cape May with temperatures in the 40s this morning and the southeast winds picking up, especially as we go late morning and early afternoon. I'll have much more on the increasingly wet forecast coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. A new arrival is pulling into the station. The Lewis Junction Railroad and Bridge Association is adding a donated tender to the tracks next to the Lewis Library this morning.
Yeah, we get a look of that scene right now. A slope-shaped car will join that red caboose that we are now seeing. It will help tell the story of Delaware rails. Coast TV live at the event right now. We're awaiting that car to pull in.
Yeah, we're patiently waiting to see that. Hopefully a little later on in our broadcast we will.
Yeah, officials say this addition will add to the exhibit that aims to show people the importance of the steam locomotive era in Lewis.
And tours of the cars are given on the weekends, including on National Train Day, that's on May 10th, which they will commemorate by driving a golden stake into the rail.
And as we move on, it's another first for Delaware Governor Matt Meyer. This afternoon in Legislative Hall, he will deliver his State of the State address in front of the General Assembly. It occurs 3 months after his inauguration. It also comes about a week after he made public budget amendments for fiscal year 2026. That includes restructuring the state income tax brackets, increasing pay for government workers, and an initiative to get cell phones out of classrooms. Speech is scheduled for 2:30 p.m.
New this morning in Maryland, Attorney General Anthony Brown is announcing the passage of several new bills focused on incarceration. Brown, along with the public defender, says the bill comes after recommendations from the Maryland Equitable Justice Collaborative, a statewide initiative to address racial disparities in incarceration. One piece of legislation broadens early release access for people who are aging or sick. Another gives longer sentences to anyone any look if the crime was committed when the offender was between 18 and 25 years old, and a third aims to reduce criminalizing students' behavior. And an update to road work taking place in Georgetown, according to the town, after being postponed due to weather. That work is expected to happen today. This includes lane and shoulder closures. On your screen now is the railroad crossing where the Delmarva Central Railroad Company is performing maintenance work at Route 9. That work is set to begin today at 9 a.m. and is expected to finish up around April 25th at 5 p.m.
Annual events changing or not happening at all this year. Downtown Milton has been the host of a lot of events in past years, like the Horseshoe Crab Festival and Pride Fest, but this year it's going to look a little different.
The Horseshoe Crab Festival was canceled, and Pride Fest, hosted by the Milton Theater, has been scaled back. CoastTV News reporter Brendan Conroy shows us the reason for the changes and how people in Milton are responding.
Stephanie Whaley lives in Laurel and says she comes to Milton for different town events each year.
I've always had a great time. Everybody is cordial and nice, so that's why I keep coming back.
But some events are changing this year. Pride Fest will be smaller, and the Horseshoe Crab and Shorebird Festival is not happening at all.
I don't understand why it's been changed. There's been things that's been going on here for a right good while.
People like Brian File, who lives on Union Street, say they're upset about the cancellation of one and relocation of another.
It does bother me a little bit because we live right on Union Street, so anytime we're having these kind of festivals and events, it's always nice to get out and see everything going on. And it's nice to have people come into Milton to see it all happening.
The Milton Chamber of Commerce released a statement on the cancellation, saying it's due to several key challenges, including limited space and rising costs. As for Pride Fest, festivities are still on schedule with a slight change of scenery. For CoastTV News, I'm Brendan Conroy.
If you live in Delmar and see this outside, fire department says don't be alarmed. According to the department, the Delaware Forest Service is performing controlled burns in the area. This is at the intersection of Line Road and Pepper Box Road. Delaware Forest Service plans to plant new trees on Saturday.
We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. Today, the House could vote on a budget blueprint. And Republicans in support of it say it will not cut Medicaid or Social Security assistance for qualified beneficiaries, but Democrats, they're worried about some aspects of those programs. The plan already has the green light from the Senate, so if the House passes it, it'll likely be the foundation for the U.S. spends money over the next few years.
It's an assault on Medicaid, an assault on health care, an assault on nutritional assistance to children and families. It's an assault on older Americans.
Anybody who's an eligible beneficiary will be protected in this process. But there are a lot of other savings in fraud, waste, and abuse.
The plan asks the House Energy and Commerce Committee to come up with $880 billion in cuts. Analysts say it's hard to do that without affecting Medicaid. Republicans say they don't want to eliminate that program, but they do want to refine it.
A lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Presidential Cruise Convenience will tell you how a retired boat in Cambridge used to be a big help to former presidents.
Also, Cape Streak on the line. The reigning girls lacrosse champions back in action against Milford. We'll see if they could stay unbeaten in that road match.
And recession concerns will tell you why one financial institution says despite a pause on tariffs, the U.S. might not be in the clear. Stay with us on CoastTV News Today.
5:39 on this chilly Thursday morning. Hershey Exteriors, Cam in Ocean City. Breeze is picking up 46, and we've got 46 in Rehoboth and Bethany Beach, but inland, upper 30s in Salisbury and Redden, maybe a touch of frost inland areas. Looks like that chance is going down as the winds are picking up and it's clouding up. It's a little breezier at the coast right now as those clouds are increasing. We're seeing some stars through the overcast, and that'll be the case as we go through the morning hours. Maybe some showers around the D.C. area. That'll be bumping into a lot of dry air, so I doubt that'll survive the trek into Delmarva. But heavier rain, even snow into the Great Lakes. This system is heading our way, promising rain as we go towards the end of the week. Today's checklist, I don't think you need the rain gear today, but bundle up. That wind's going to pick up. It's going to feel raw. Sunscreen, not a bad idea if you're outside for a long period of time. Always good to have a warm beverage on a chilly morning, and make sure you have the sunglasses as well. And call the CoastTV First Alert weather phone, another way to get your forecast. Sponsored sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico.
Thank you, Bob. Happening today, infrastructure projects take center stage in Georgetown. Officials are hosting a workshop dealing with these updates. And according to the agenda, people living in Georgetown are able to attend the comprehensive plan, which gives insight to future development. This workshop takes place tonight at 5.
Nighttime closures coming to one major roadway in Lewis this month. According to DelDOT, this is for the final part of the Route 24 at Angola Road and Robinson Road improvement project. Starting April 21st, crews will work from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m., prompting lane closures. Work includes milling, signage, and stripping. The DelDOT says the project is expected to be completed by May 19th.
In Berlin, we have some lane closures to tell you about that are taking place today. According to town officials, the water department needs to conduct repairs to a sewer line at West Street between Baker Street and Broad Street, and the closures are set to begin in less than 2 hours from now. It's at 7 a.m. This work is expected to end at 5 p.m.
Today, Tidal Health will honor medical donors in a very special way. According to the health organization, April is National Donate Life Month. Representatives from Tidal Health Nanticoke, the Gift of Life Donor Program, and other organizations will raise a flag in honor of past, present, and future donors. This is taking place at Tidal Health Nanticoke's Emergency Department at 11 a.m.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
There's not many more dominant teams than Cape Henlopen girls lacrosse, but last night they faced one of their biggest tests of the early season. In a clash of the Titans, 4-1 Milford played host to 5-0 Cape Henlopen in girls lacrosse. In the second half, Vikings up big and looking for more. Before Avery Miller lets it fly, a whistle's blown for a free position shot, and Miller doesn't waste her chance, darting ahead and bouncing it by the keeper to strengthen the Cape lead. And that's when the floodgates opened. Haley Gamacello makes it look easy with this cutting finish on the doorstep for the Vikings, and Cape Henlopen keeps going the length of the field. Goalie Abigail Schaefer starts it all off with the pinpoint pass. And eventually, the ball finds its way to Marie Rishko, who tacks on the finishing touches. In Cape Henlopen fashion, the Vikings dominate and win it 20-6. The reigning state champs are now out to a 6-0 start. And make sure to download the DSN app and subscribe to DSN Plus so you can follow the Cape Henlopen journey, as well as all the other spring sports action on Delmarva. That'll do it for sports. Have a great day, everyone.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 4, it's Delaware High School girls soccer when Sussex Academy travels to Lake Forest, and then catch the final score at 10:30. And on DSN Plus, along with Sussex Academy soccer match, you get these exclusives at 4. Bayside Conference boys lacrosse when Cambridge South Dorchester faces Y-High. Seaford travels to Laurel in girls soccer. At 4:30, we have Henlopen Conference boys volleyball when Cape Henlopen plays at Cesar Rodney.
Jennifer Lopez is hosting an upcoming award show. Rick Damangella reveals which one, along with more news from Tinseltown in our Hollywood Minute.
Jennifer Lopez returns to the AMAs. Lopez will take on hosting and performer duties at the 2025 American Music Awards. The show airs live from Las Vegas on CBS Memorial Day Monday, May 26th.
You're impossibly fast and strong. You gotta give me some answers.
Twilight goes on tour. GEA Live announces Twilight in Concert will take place in 60 U.S. cities later this year. The event features performances of the Twilight film's soundtracks played live to film. The tour starts September 12th, running through November.
I'm going through my mom and Nona's recipes, and then I realized food is love. So I want to open an Italian restaurant. What are you, crazy?
Vince Vaughn opens a restaurant with Italian grandmothers as the chefs in Nona's. This is your first look at the well-fed comedy, which hits the table on Netflix May 9th. Getting seconds and thirds of pasta in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damangella.
Looking at chilly conditions this morning, here's a dry tech cam in Ocean City. 46 winds starting to pick up out of the southeast. Maybe a touch of frost this morning, inland areas. Otherwise cloudy and cool today. Increasing rain chances later tonight into a part of the weekend. I'll track it all on Futurecast and your full forecast in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
We're taking a live look outside at Ocean City this morning. And Bob, that's a really pretty view right there from the water. We see some lights on. It's a little cold in Ocean City today, but hopefully we'll see some sunshine. That would be a good thing.
Yeah, I think we'll see a little bit of sunshine for your birthday, Elisa. Maybe you should make a little pilgrimage down to the beach today, but if you do for your birthday, make sure you bundle up. It will be cool, more clouds than sun today. Temperatures in the 50s and remaining dry, but feeling colder with that increasing wind. Then I think rain's building in on Friday, and a storm developing off the coast, I think, gives us some rain on Saturday, but then I think it does dry out as we go into Sunday. This morning, we could be seeing a little bit of frost, parts of the eastern shore around Hurlock, Mardella Springs to Salisbury to Ocean Pines, but we're not seeing that right along the immediate coast. In fact, I think many areas not seeing frost. You have to be about 36 degrees or below, and right now we are above that, even in Salisbury, 39 in Redmond right now, 41 in Georgetown, mid-40s from Ocean City up to Rehoboth right now. Wind's starting to pick up off the ocean out of the southeast, and that will start to add moisture to the atmosphere and have that raw feel as we go through the day, as clouds are beginning to increase now, mid to high level clouds. Now, radar is showing some showers moving into D.C. I'll have to check to see if these are hitting the ground. We have a lot of dry air over us, and chances are these are going to fizzle out as they get closer, but we'll continue to watch those. But heavier rain now across the Ohio Valley, and even snow around Cleveland into Buffalo, into the Great Lakes too, where winter doesn't want to end there. But this system will be tracking east, increasing our rain chances as we go into tonight and Friday. You can see that snow extending from Buffalo up into the Great Lakes, accumulating snow for them. We're done with the snow. No more of that. Can't say that for the frost. There's always that chance we could see another frost advisory before it's all said and done. 30s and 40s this morning with increasing clouds. By mid-morning, we're in the low 50s, mid-50s by the noon hour, cooler 40s at the coast with that flow coming right off the ocean. Increasing clouds, becoming cloudy this afternoon into this evening. And with the clouds and breeze tonight, not as cold as it has been. Don't have to worry about a freeze with temperatures in the 40s. But then we increase the chances for showers later tonight into Friday morning. Mid-morning tomorrow, kind of cloudy, breezy, raw. I think we're increasing the rain chances into the afternoon, and Friday evening, it looks like kind of a washout there as we're watching low pressure that will be developing off the coast Friday evening, making for a washout across Delmarva. You can see the spin right here with low pressure just offshore. And then the thrust of that system moves offshore Saturday. Still a few scattered showers on Saturday, maybe Saturday night, but then I think we dry out on Sunday into Monday. The winds, yeah, they're picking up from the southeast. Pretty gusty as we head through the next 24 hours, at times gusting over 20 miles per hour. And with this wind trajectory into Friday, well, that's going to keep us pretty raw and chilly, and those winds gusting over 20 miles per hour at times. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, 56 today, 45 tonight. So you can leave the plants outside now as the coldest of the air is behind us. Rain showers on Friday, 55, and then Passover begins Saturday. Could be wet for that, 53, or your outdoor plants too. Palm Sunday, we dry it out 60 degrees, and then it's upper 60s Monday to 70 on Tuesday, remaining dry, and then a little cooler, but still dry by Wednesday.
Thank you, Bob. A presidential yacht has been sitting in Cambridge at the Richardson Maritime Museum since 2023, and this week, its crew members from 1969 got to climb aboard. This is a rare look inside the Sequoia. The boat was built in 1925, and presidents like Hoover, Roosevelt, Eisenhower, and Nixon all set sail on it at some point. Cruises were about 2 to 3 hours, but it was a very cost-effective way for the president to have cabinet meetings and to make pivotal decisions that altered the course of history. A steward that worked during Nixon's presidency shared a few stories of what it was like.
And if you went to Mount Vernon in between sunrise and sunset, Navy laws, Navy rules, regulations say that the ship, a Navy ship, must give honor to George Washington. And so that was one of the things that we would do. And quite often, then the dinner would be served after that. A sit-down dinner, we could sit 22 people in this room, and then in the after salon, you could put another table with 10 more.
The Richardson Maritime Museum says the reunion was about honoring the sailors and crew that worked on the Sequoia. It says the owner has been drafting plans for restoration work.
Investors cheered Wednesday when President Donald Trump paused most of his new tariffs. But the largest bank in the U.S. says the party will be short-lived. J.P. Morgan Chase issued a new report Wednesday night, and it's sticking with its forecast that there's a 60% chance the country is headed into a recession. The tariff pause is only for 3 months, and J.P. Morgan sees the U.S. war on trade as far as over.
President Trump may have paused those tariffs for 90 days, but some groceries may still be getting more expensive. That's thanks to the 10% tariffs that went into place last Saturday. Supermarkets sell imported items in every section of the store. Experts say shoppers can expect to see prices rise on seafood, coffee, fruit, cheese, nuts, and even candy bars.
We're seeing increasing clouds out there right now, still on the chilly side. Maybe a little bit of frost inland areas. Irish Ice Cam 44 in Lewis. No frost on the coast. It's going to be a cloudy and cool day today. Increasing rain chances later tonight into Friday and a part of the weekend. I don't think it's going to be a total washout. Warmer and drier into next week. I'll have your 10-day forecast coming up next.
It is 5:56. We're going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
And today's coastal pet of the day is a rescue from Washington, D.C. On your screen, we're getting a great picture of Blue. Blue loves the change from city life to the coast. I can understand that. You can see his beach walks are his favorite time of the day, and Blue is always down for a game of fetch. This good boy was submitted to us by his forever family in Fenwick Island.
And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
If you do that, you're going to see that QR code at the top there. Scan it, and that way you can get your friends to Coast TV News. And then you can watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
And it's 5:56, so we're going to take another quick look at your forecast.
Bob, I feel it's another morning that we're saying chilly conditions out there.
Chilly conditions, and it looked like Blue, the dog, was waiting for somebody to throw a frisbee or ball. I liked it with the one ear up, one ear down. That was kind of cool. We are looking at a chilly start out there, maybe a touch of frost inland areas. Otherwise, the winds are picking up, clouds are increasing. So we're warming through the 40s and then only into the mid-50s this afternoon. Paul Davis 10-day forecast. I'm going around 56 today. Overnight lows not as cold, so if you have the plants, you can put them back outside the next several nights. Increasing rain on Friday, 55, and then into the weekend. Kind of wet Saturday for the start of Passover, 53. 60 on Palm Sunday. I think we'll see a little bit of sunshine, and then warmer into early next week, 70 by Tuesday. Staying dry most of next week, and then maybe some rain on Good Friday, and that could also linger into the Easter holiday weekend. I guess I was, too soon to say it was a dry weekend, so we'll have to watch, but it looks like it could be a little wet.
All right, thanks, Bob. Coming up in our next hour, Delaware's direction. Governor Matt Meyer is set to make his case over the first 3 months of his administration. That and more when Coast TV News Today continues.